Hey everybody, it's Silver Seeker and welcome back to the channel. As you know, if you've been subscribed here for any amount of time at least, I like to put out videos about 3 times a week, usually on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Now some of those videos get a lot of views, some of them get a ton of views, and I really appreciate you guys watching my content and additionally leaving comments on those videos. And the reason I brought up comments is because that's what today's video is about. I like to read all of my comments. That being said, I can't say that some of them don't fly under the radar. Some of them I respond to right away if I feel it's necessary. Some of them I just move on and appreciate the comment. For example, when someone says great video or thank you. And the reason is, as I get so many of those, it's hard to respond to them all with the limited time that I have. And then some of them I actually save for videos like this. Now we like to do these about once a month, and what we do in these videos is I actually grab comments from my channel over the last month and I actually respond to them live here in this video, and that's what we're going to do today. Now some of these are controversial, some of them are funny, some of them are awesome comments or questions that I feel the need to answer for a broader audience so everyone can see them. So like I said, that's what we're gonna do. But before we do, if you are new here, do me a favor, don't forget to go down below and make sure you are subscribed. It really helps me out. Don't forget to hit that like button to help YouTube recommend this video to others. All right, let's read some comments. All right, so I have 12 comments queued up and ready to go. Before we open the first one, I will have the video thumbnail from the video that the comment is from on the screen when we're reading the comment. Some of these will take a little bit to respond to. Some of them would be really quick. One of them is kind of funny. And so let's get into it. The first one, this was on the eye-opening truth, premium versus generic silver. This video has done very, very well on the channel. I believe it's north of 100,000 views now, so thanks again for that. Mike says, your formula assumes that 10 or 20 years in the future, when silver hits 50 or 100 an ounce, the price dealers are willing to pay to buy it back are going to be the same as it is now. There's absolutely no way to predict what coin shops or precious metals dealers are going to be willing to pay in the future for something you have bought today. That is accurate. So that is actually what he said here kind of solidifies what I was trying to point out in this video. We have no idea what dealers are going to pay for Eagles and Britannias and Maples in the future when silver hits, keep in mind, if silver hits 50 or $100 an ounce. We have no idea. So what we do know is if silver does hit 50 to $100 an ounce, that your ounce of silver will be worth $50 to $100. So you have no idea if the premium on an Eagle is going to be 5 or if it's going to be 10 or whatever it's going to be, but you do know how much that silver is going to be worth based on what the spot price is, right? So it's better at that point to just have overall more silver. So if today $100 buys you 3 silver Eagles, and I know it buys you less than that, but for example, if today a $100 bill buys you 3 silver Eagles or 4 silver rounds, and then silver hits $100 an ounce, let's say those Eagles are only 120, you know, the premium's 20 bucks, that's 360 for the Eagles. Let's say the rounds are just spot, that's still $400 for the rounds. So actually Mark is kind of right here. He kind of made my point. Yes, you have no idea what they're going to pay for Eagles and Brits. So in my opinion, it's better to just stack more weight. And that's what I was trying to get off in this comment, or in this video, I should say. Mark, thank you so much for the comment. And as you can see, he is a subscriber. So thank you for subscribing to the channel. All right, this next one right here, this one comes from Shalom Dunn. I just had to put this up here. This is the video where I call around to shops to see what they pay for kilo bars and 100-ounce bars. And by the way, I do realize, and I left the comment at the top of that video, that the first 3 calls, I was kind of beating around the bush with them, and it was making the dealers confused. So the last 4 calls were much more straight to the point questions. But anyway, he goes, I would wager in a real financial collapse, a 100-ounce bar will sell for more than a 1-ounce round. Shalom, it doesn't have to be a financial collapse. That is accurate today. People will pay more for a 100-ounce bar than they will a 1-ounce round today. Now, if you mean that they'll pay more per ounce for a 100-ounce bar than a 1-ounce round, I kind of disagree there. And the reason is even in a financial collapse, when you're bartering, that 100-ounce bar is going to be, there's not going to be as many things you can barter for. You're going to have to use that for larger purchases, whereas if it's something that's worth 10, you just use 10 instead of 100. You see what I'm saying? So I still believe that the 1-ounce rounds are the way to go there. That being said, you can buy the 100-ounce bars cheaper, so that goes back into the first point of the first video where we pointed out that sometimes it's just better to have more silver as well. So I don't know, you have to think about that one. And of course, everything I say is not a financial, something you shouldn't make a financial decision on. This is just my opinion that I'm sharing with you. All right, number 3, Michael Cole says, Price precious metals high enough, buyers will disappear. That is already happening. That was on the video where I showed that the premiums are going insane for things like Eagles, and even rounds have been going up. And Michael is kind of right, but that's how the market works. When something goes too high, the buyers disappear, and when the buyers disappear, the price comes back down to bring the buyers back in. Right now, as you can see, even with the prices where they are, the buyers are definitely still here. I don't know what the Eagle market looks like right now as far as buyers are concerned, but what I can tell you is that the premiums on Eagles continue to go up. Even Upstate, which is a wholesaler I talk about all the time, I checked their price this morning. Wholesalers are selling $11 and more over spot to the dealers before they even sell it to you. Wow. All right, so next up, this one comes from Babelfish Dude. This is on the Stacking Nickels video. In that video I talked about, is it a good idea to stack nickels? And he says, personally, it's zero risk. The only thing most people might miss out on is the 0.5% interest rate at the bank. Woohoo, yay. Heck, I buy Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2 cases on Steam as precursor to the NFT. To eventually buy hardware, you cannot return them in dollars. That's irrelevant. And says anything is a better bet than the interest rate at a bank nowadays. That is accurate. I remember. Well, I don't remember. My dad used to tell me about interest rates at banks when you actually put money in a savings account and it would grow your money. Those days are long gone. I mean, even with the Fed raising rates, I don't think it's going to get anywhere back to where it was in the 80s and possibly the 90s. I don't remember exactly when that ended. But he's right. Anything's better than putting it in the bank. Even stacking nickels is better than putting it in the bank. That being said, the weight, the size, all that stuff, it really, to me, is just not something that I'm willing to do. It's just too much weight, too much volume, if you will. It's not for me. But he makes a valid point. Anything's better than going to the bank. All right, this one comes back to the eye-opening truth, premium versus generic. This was just a mistake that I made, and Rock's Court, as well as like 30 other of you guys, and probably more, called me out on it. Thank you so much. I said HM stood for Hauser Miller. It actually stands for Highland Mint. And I believed I knew that when I was recording it, but as I'm recording a video, sometimes I just say things, I don't catch it. In fact, even when Silver Dragons and I did our collaboration a little over a month ago, he said something incorrect on the video, and neither of us caught it until the videos came out and we started getting comments. We're like, oh, duh. So anyway, my apologies on that, but Rox, you're right. It is Highland Mint, not Hauser Miller. All right, here we go. Number 6. This one is from Richard H. This is on the eye-opening truth. He says, very interesting. What isn't factored in, though, is the price increase of premiums as they get older. A 2022 Eagle is much cheaper than a 2010 Eagle. Premiums are probably a slightly better long-term investment, whereas rounds should be just be considered a spot price investment. My apologies for fumbling my words there. So, Richard, you're right, and this kind of goes back to the other comment that we talked about where the guy said you have no idea what the prices in the futures are going to be. But he's pointing out that 2022 Eagles are cheaper than 2010 Eagles, but that's only partly accurate. If you are looking to buy specifically a 2010 Silver Eagle, say to complete a set, chances are you're going to pay more for it than just buying a 2022 because the 2022s are being produced right now and they're pretty much in stock everywhere. That being said, if you just want random date Silver Eagles, for example, just whatever they send you, which definitely will probably include 2010s if you buy enough, they're actually cheaper or the same price as 2022s. So the only reason you're paying more for a 2010 Eagle specifically is because they're getting you that specific date and they're charging you that extra fee for getting that specific date together for you. And trust me, I've ordered random date Silver Eagles and I've gotten stuff all the way back in the 80s and 90s in BU condition. They're just sending you whatever they have on hand at that point. But yes, he's right. Again, if you buy one single 2010 Eagle for a set and you need that specific date, he's right. You're going to probably pay a little bit more for that, but you're not stacking those to sell them to people that are putting sets together. There's just not enough people out there for that. All right, here we go. Next up, this one is a longer one. This one's also in the eye-opening truth. Patrick Morrissey says, you brought up the silver and the nickel, but at 9:43, you basically make my point for me. Why would somebody... Oh, I put the wrong title card on this. I am so sorry. This is actually from my nickel video. He goes, at 9:43, you basically make my point for me. Why would somebody buy your nickels when they can just go to the bank? Because they will change the composition of the nickels, which is exactly what they did in 1964. They took out the silver, which then you are holding something that has value. 22 and earlier nickels, which are no longer being produced. Someone can't just go to the bank because they changed the nickels. Neither can you. That's why you should buy nickels now. So I'm not sure it's as pointless as you say. A few boxes in the corner of your closet will not hurt or anything. Or at the very least, nickels drop into an empty 1.75 liter bottle. Just start saving your nickels. Who knows? All right, Patrick. So, I mean, good point here. You're not going to go to the bank and just pick up rolls of Liberty nickels and Buffalo nickels. He's right about that. Those really fall in collector, not necessarily in metals, though. Right now, until the U.S. stops using nickel for nickels and then allows us to start melting them, my point still stands that when you are looking at nickels and stacking nickels, you can't sell them outside of the U.S. You can't melt them for profit. So in other words, you can't melt them for the metal value to sell them for profit legally. I'm sure people do it anyway, but you can't do those things legally. So who are you going to sell it to? You can sell it to anyone in the U.S. that can go into the bank and buy a box of nickels, again, for metal content, not for buffs. We look for buffs when we hunt them, but you get the point. So yeah, you're right to a point, but until the U.S. stops producing nickels, stops using nickel in the nickels and allows us to melt them down, the point still stands that generally in normal times you can go into a bank and just pick them up yourself rather than paying more than the face value for them on a website or something like that. All right, so next up, this one also comes from the nickels and it actually has the right thumbnail. I apologize, I messed it up. JB the Cook has a point here that I just wanted to bring up in this video because it's a valid point. He says, isn't all U.S. change made of the metal content? So what makes a nickel so special? The reason that the nickel is so special is because, for example, this $50 right here in my hand actually probably has more, I don't know the exact amount, I'd have to check, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know for sure, but probably has more nickel and copper in it than a nickel does. That being said, the face value of this is 50 cents, and there's nowhere near 50 cents worth of metal in this, whereas the nickel has a face value of only 5 cents, but has way more than 5 cents worth of metal content inside the nickel. That's the difference. If you go to the bank and stack these for the metal content, you're not stacking, more than face value of the of what's inside the coin. Whereas with the nickels, because they're so heavy, they're thicker, they're heavier for their size than, like, say, a dime. There's more metal content than face value, and that's why that's why it's a big deal. All right, so number 9, this one also comes from stacking nickels. And this one I wanted to put up there because I wanted to make something really clear, even though I do know that this subscriber was just joking. This was just in jest. But he goes, so I could make a video of melting them and refining them for artistic, educational, and science purposes. Technically, yes, but I am not a lawyer. I am certainly not a legal attorney or anything like that, nor am I a financial advisor like I like to say in a lot of my videos. So if that's something you're really going to do, you may just want to talk to a lawyer first if you're going to do them and refine them for artistic, like turn it into a statue to sell or something like that. Talk to a lawyer. Listen, I cannot give legal advice. I have no idea, I have no idea at all if that is something you really can do. I just know what the law itself states, but you need to contact a lawyer. And that is the case with a lot of my videos, which is why I put this in there. Listen, I even have a disclaimer in the bottom of every one of my videos that you can click on. It goes to my website that says, hey, look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a financial advisor, blah, blah, blah. Get your real advice from real professionals. All right, I'm just a guy on YouTube. All right, so here we go. Next up, this one. Now, this guy right here, I actually ended up having to ban him off of the channel because he started getting very, very angry with me. And I was responding very kindly to this gentleman, but he started getting angry with me because he didn't like the responses I was saying. That being said, let's read what he said. So he says, stacking rounds isn't risky because you may get burned, but because the person you offer it to in exchange for services rendered will themselves may not accept them because they are afraid of being burned. If your goal of stacking is to resell them in some weird future society where silver has 10 times, but societies somehow still exist, then cool, get rounds. Otherwise, sovereign silver is the way to go. Just don't get eagles. Those premiums are nuts. Go get Britannios or Maple Leafs. Now, as you notice, he was not angry at all in this comment. He was just making a good comment. I just responded with why I disagree with this. And then he started getting angry with me. And that's when I'm like, look, I don't have time for people that are going to, scream at me because they disagree with my opinion. What I have is just an opinion for you. And I'm telling you that right now. That being said, I use this in one of the replies to him. Is that being said, in Venezuela right now, they are actually, bartering with silver and gold, and they're using scraps and shavings of silver and gold. My point, I guess, what I'm trying to make to this gentleman and to you is that when we get to I keep saying when, but the truth is if we get to a situation, if we get to a time in which we do have to barter with gold and silver. They're not really going to care if it's maples or Brits or eagles. They're just going to care if it's real silver and real gold. And there are a million ways to test and see if that is the case. And that being said, something else I also pointed out to him is that, look, maples and Brits and eagles, those are counterfeited all the time as well. So there is no guarantee with the person that you were trying to barter with that your eagle is real either, outside of them being able to test the metal content. They're not just going to look at it and say, oh, it's an eagle, so it must be real. No, they're going to want to ensure that the silver is silver, which you can do with any silver. It doesn't have to have, Lady Liberty on it, an eagle on the reverse, or a Britannia, or a maple leaf on it to be able to test if it's real silver. It's just a shape. I mean, you could take a silver round and press it into a silver eagle if you wanted to. The point is, there's plenty of fakes out there on both sides of the aisle. And so, they're not going to care if it's a maple or a eagle. You get the point. So anyway, this guy, I started talking to him. My comments weren't angry or anything. I was just giving him why I disagree. And then he, called me delusional and started getting angry. So I'm like, all right, well, we're done with this. And we moved on. But I did want to bring that point up to you guys. That's what I'm trying to point out. All right, so next up. Oh, and by the way, on this comments, he says, the premiums are nuts. Go Britannias and Maple Leafs. I agree with you, 100%. I don't think Eagles is a good investment right now. Okay, so on this one, this comes from Ben Dolliger. This is on my newest one where I called around to see if shops are selling silver coins and what they're selling them for. We also looked at online retailers. And Ben says, Seeker, why does it seem like regionals of the U.S., so he means different regions of the U.S., have such large premium difference? When I talk to people in forums or chats in the stream, I have heard people buying for 18 times face all the way up to 24 times face. I don't think it's really a regional situation. I just think it's the availability in certain areas situation, which, there may be spots in the Northwest that, have plenty of silver here, but not so much over here. And it depends on how far people are willing to drive to get it, or how far they're willing to call around and see if they can get a better price. So I don't think it's necessarily a regional situation, more as it's a local situation where there's just not available. If you only have one coin shop, in a 150-mile radius and they're selling for 22, and that's still cheaper than online, then you're probably going to go buy it for 22 rather than pay 24, 25 online or drive 150 miles one way. So I think it's not necessarily, like I said, regional. It's just more of a local situation where the quantities in certain local situations may, cause the prices to be higher. All right, and then this is our final one. This is from that same video. This comes from Mr. Hopkins D, and I may have read that wrong, but he says, I don't know if you were acting or what, but when you acted all surprised that the LCSs were cheaper than the other online shops, where you had me rolling on the floor. I'm glad I could make you laugh. It was like you never looked at an online shop's website before. No need to treat us like that. So here's the thing. I wasn't intending to act like I was surprised that the LCSs were cheaper. I think if I didn't say it at the beginning of that video, I've said it in other videos, plenty of other videos, that LCSs, a lot of the times you can find them cheaper. In fact, I've done these phone shop calls for years now, so you guys know that I know that a lot of the times local shops can be cheaper. I was certainly not surprised, and I didn't mean to come off as surprised, so I apologize about that if that was the case. But I'm certainly not treating you like anything. I'm just making a fun video that's also educational and entertaining, so that's what I hope that you guys got out of it. And that is my final comment to read for you guys today. So I do hope you enjoyed this video and you enjoy videos like these. Like I said, if you want to possibly, I can't guarantee I get thousands of comments each month, but if you want to possibly get featured in a future video, leave a comment on some of the videos coming up in the next month or so. And next time we do this, who knows, yours may be chosen. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a subscriber. It really, really means the world to me. You guys are awesome. And we'll see you next time.